everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. Well, we're going to start with just Matt. And Matt today is sporting, honestly, you know what? I'm trying to make you guys angry, but honestly, this jersey's pretty sweet. I'm sporting my Montreal Canadiens jersey. As I hope you all are today. Look, trying to bring some levity. All right, I'm trying to bring some laughs today because there's more of the same baloney last night. More of the same that we've spent too long talking about, and it's going to be the same points over and over. And you know what? You guys are probably sick of it. I'm sick of it. But it couldn't have been more obvious, more like the evidence was just plain in your face. What are the problems? Man, we saw them last night. Just if this team had its core pieces, it didn't get the support that it needed. And man, like I said, we've talked about it all season, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. But first, let me say hi to Jim. Jim, what's going on? Doing okay. Thankfully, this met expectations. Thankfully, the fact that we're going to talk about today that we are just flat out done outside of a miracle. I'm not doing as horrible. Let's say rewind a year ago and you're trying to come to terms with oh my God, this team went all the way and ties it up and wins in a shootout. But then of course what happened last year, was that Philly and Washington? I think it was Philly because I remember, just to recap, it's Philly that blows it against Washington. And after the game, Torts makes some comment about how he wouldn't have pulled the goalie if he knew that the Red Wings were going to. But anyway, that's what I remember. I remember it being Torts. So I feel like it was Torts that screwed us over. Chewy throws out their story of our lives. Maybe next year. Ho hum. Once again, here we are. Dan B, he's sporting his priority waste garbage jersey. Man. Just ever since that happened. Remember when that was a fun, a little jokey story? And now it's just oh no. Wait, we've got a bit of a streak going. Chewy wants to know whose jersey. Dan B's just priority waste is the jersey. Hey, if you got a winged wheel on it. Okay, so let's recap what's going on. We can pull up the standings here. Ottawa clinches last night. I think what's going on is bigger than just the Red Wings are toast. But of course, the Red Wings lose last night to the Montreal Canadiens. You're basically talking about the situation where you have two teams vying for a single playoff spot, and regardless of what you want to talk about with shots on net, preventing, getting those shots on net, who looked more dominant, who had control of the puck more often, was there a goalie performance? Were there lucky shots that maybe helped determine where this game was going to go? Regardless of that conversation, you are on pace now for 9 straight years of no playoffs because Montreal, who needed to win, won the game. And ladies and gentlemen, your favorite.
Uh-oh. Matt.
Mike.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, I can't hear you.
Oh, no. Well, Mike's here.
Matt, you're muted, are you?
He can't hear us. Everybody else has been talking to me. I hope I haven't been talking to nobody this whole time. It's all just
right,
funny.
I'll be right back. I can't hear you. 1,
yeah,
2, 3.
I mean, we could hear you, Mike. So you gotta get those speakers figured out. All right, he's back out. That was fun for a sec. Did you guys like that little cameo from Mike? That was nice. Where was I? Right, full situation. Dan B says, I can hear you both. Yeah, that was definitely a mic problem. That was a mic, not a microphone problem, a Michael problem. Dan, thanks for checking in. Jim Johnson, the captain of the rant can only say Stevie has a ton of work to do in the offseason. Is Stevie safe? Mike, how's that audio coming in?
I can't hear you.
Still not coming in. Here, we'll let Mike see the message here that Dan B says, I can hear you both.
Oh, man. Dan, I'm glad you can hear. I can't hear anything coming out. Hold on.
We'll give him some time. It's fine. It happened. Well, I'm telling him it's fine. It happens, and he can't hear me. But Mike, just keep working it out. He can't hear me still. I don't know why I said that part. I don't know. Now I just feel like I got to banter with you guys. Because I want to tell the whole story. Oh, he can hear me. All right. You can hear me?
Yeah. Man, what Red Wing clothes are you wearing today? Let's go, Illiches.
Sporting my Montreal Canadiens jersey. Actually, you know what's funny? Like, looking at this on the camera, that red on the C, that really pops. Ooh, doesn't it? That looks so fresh and clean.
So I am excited for our Detroit Tigers, as frugal as they were this offseason. However, I am sporting, Matt, just for you. It's not Montreal, but little Cincinnati City Connect, huh? Little
is that
Illy de la Cruz? Yeah. Ooh,
is that, Are we like thoughts for Cincy, who's now buried under a river? The Ohio River overflowed, and I saw this morning on the news. The Cincinnati Reds ballpark is now underwater. It's crazy.
Wow, I've been at work and taking care of the dog, and I just got home, and I cannot believe these historic floods are in. Because I love that city. I genuinely like, as terrible as Ohio is, it's like Cincinnati's its own little paradise in the middle of that awful state. And I'm really sad that this happened to them. This is insane.
Have you watched White Lotus?
Are you kidding? That's the only show I watch immediately when it's debuting at 9:00 on Sundays.
You right now look like not Goggins, but Goggins' buddy, who your haircut, you look like you have the same haircut as
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah. I don't know why, but you just look like Sam with the black t-shirt and the haircut.
It was overdue, by the way. Yeah. But Dan,
your Sam Rockwell haircut.
Please keep me posted. I apologize if the mic is going in and out. It could be my volume because I'm always yelling. So it's probably the mic trying to figure me out.
I think they're still just commenting on the struggles on coming up.
Okay.
Chewy said, "Turn up your hearing aid." Jared throws out there, somehow this is all Matt Patricia's fault. I don't know if we want to blame this, if that's blaming the Red Wings' current situation, or is it blaming Mike's attempt to join us on the show today? But I could reset the table here, and we could go back into what I was doing, is telling the story of what happened last night.
Can I ask? Now we're done, right? That's it.
Yes.
That was it.
It's over.
You guys probably went to work. You still had that dude in your office. I don't know if you guys saw the standings. We're only 4 points out, and we get a little hot streak. Little Talbot goes hot. It's over. It's done. You're out once again.
Right? I think the math is Montreal needs to lose out, and you need to win out. So
wait, 82 games. Right? So wait, they're 2 points from clinching?
Yeah.
Because of the tiebreaker.
Right.
God,
and then we're good.
Please just win your next game. Because I don't want to listen to that guy at work anymore. I can't do it.
You know what?
We win out. We played Florida pretty tough. So we play them pretty tough again. And then maybe Dallas. No. Stop. Just watch baseball. It's over.
I think so. Looking at the regulation wins,
yeah,
Montreal has 29 and we have 28. So I actually think there's a couple of things that could happen and we could still get in.
No.
But we're not playing that game. We're burying the Red Wings. It's done. I mean, look at the schedule coming up. Like, for sure, Florida's got, their injuries they're dealing with, but you're not going to get past Tampa. Dallas has got to look for an easy game to get some things going before the, playoffs start. I mean, there is a world right now where you're like, all right, Florida's hurt. Tampa's going to play a game they don't care about. Dallas is hurt right now. You can score against Dallas. New Jersey's got their own injuries that they've been dealing with all season. In Toronto, maybe they're just not going to care at that point. Like, you could play that game right now, but it's done. It's not happening.
Yeah, but our offense is on fire. Look, we got 1 goal, 5 against Carolina. How the hell did that happen? 2 against Florida.
Jim's got a great point. 5 games in 8 nights, including 2 back-to-backs.
Man, it's nice that we're just gonna we don't have to drag this out with 3 or 4 day gaps. It'll just be snuffed out in a week. In a week, it'll just be snuffed out. Over.
Yeah, I think if we lose to Florida, I think that's it. Then it's officially, we'll have an E next to our name in the standings. But finally. I hope Steve
saw that E at the trade deadline.
Right?
That's why they call him Steve EY.
Huh? Were we not asking?
Steve eliminated? Okay. I didn't see you slapping your knee, so I wasn't sure if that joke made it on the mic. But go ahead.
Well, you know who did clinch last night, Mike, was the
collective buttholes of the Red Wings management? They were pretty clinched.
No, they clinched, but clinched.
Oh, they didn't clinch.
Last night.
Oh, they clinched, not clench. Okay.
The Ottawa Senators clinched last night. Of course, the team that got Dylan Cousins. Of course, the guy that we were asking for, and everyone was saying, like, oh, I don't know. That production's not there. And now Dylan Cousins is
move. We really got to keep our prospects.
I just had to get out of Buffalo, man. That's all I needed. And the rest, all of the NHL media was like, yeah, that's what this is going to be. You're going to get Dylan Cousins out of there. He's going to be legit. Also,
I love that move. Yes. You know what? I'm buying a jersey.
You got one more. We got one more. How about last offseason? Ottawa's like, hey, there's a goaltender,
pretty good goalie
on the market. Pretty good goalie on the market. I'm going to go after him.
So in hockey, you can only really put 6 guys on the ice. One of them's a goalie. I think we get a good one. Wait, no. Wait, hold on. What if we just get a whole bunch of goalies? Ooh. Well, I think Detroit's already got all of them, so we'll just get the one good one.
Well, I mean, so here, this is the story. This is what I was coming to. Mike, when you joined, I was saying that this was more than just...
Can we still keep this for pop culture too? Is this our White Lotus moment where the mom, after the daughter stayed overnight at the Monk place and she's just crying and the mom's just smiling knowing she's right? And we just get to lean back and be like, see, Steve, this is what happens. Oh, when you go for a bunch of goalies instead of a good one and maybe get somebody good at the trade deadline. No, oops, once again. Oh no, Piper, you're out of the playoffs again.
Well, I mean, there's a little bit of that. I'd be lying if I wasn't watching some of these games going like, all right, I don't want to look like a huge idiot here with how we've kind of staked our claim and these off-season moves doomed us. That was our take 2 years ago, Mike. Yeah. That was our take this year, and we're still right. It's those takes that we gave when Holl came aboard. It's the takes that I gave when Tarasenko came aboard.
Yes.
It's just, it doesn't, the moves didn't make sense, and it always seems like we have the same problem. And I don't know what we're missing. When we look at this, there's a couple of uneducated boobs. Couple of boobs outside of hockey, and we're like, why the hell would you sign this guy? And then you're trying to beat the Montreal Canadiens, and it just goes the way it goes. And Justin Holl seems to be in the center of it. Tarasenko, who we said, for sure, if he could score enough, it's worth it. But he's not scoring enough, and he's still a defensive liability. So he turns the puck over. Red Wings lose.
Yeah, love it. Dan B thrown in there. Montreal and Ottawa make the playoffs. Buffalo finishing ahead of the Red Wings would be the cherry on top of a poo-poo season.
Oh, they're right there too. I did not realize that. That was
They
a great
sure
call out,
are.
Dan.
That's pretty cool. And then Jim Johnson saying, Jim, welcome. Even though I'm late and you're welcoming me because you were here a lot earlier. The question I have for you guys is, how much is Ilitch's ownership preventing Stevie making bigger deals? I feel like you know what popped out? I think Jared's out there. I feel like Jared mentioned this. Like, how much limitation can there really be in the salary cap era? Like, how can Steve really get smoked on this one when everybody has the same limitations? Like, it's not like, baseball where it's pretty wide open, I think I think you have to start giving money back into a pool in Major League Baseball, but hockey, everybody's got the same ceiling. So I don't know how much he's really limiting, right? Like, that would assume that Chris Ilitch knows anything about hockey, which I can't believe that he does. So I can't believe he would step in and veto like a Cousins trade. If anything, I feel like it's Steve just saying, let's just take the long game because you're gonna give me that leash, and I don't want to do a short-term thing that blows up in my face. So I'd rather be, more cautious than try to be splashy.
So that's my problem. My problem is this.
So do you think that Ilitch, like the short answer for Jim, do you think that Ilitch, Chris, I think it's important we say Chris, just because Mike did such an awesome job, that Chris is preventing Steve from being like kind of doing what he wants?
My problem is like we're right up to the cap. And this is after trading some guys away. So if he's able to walk into a room and say, hey, we're going to spend all this cap, but I want to spend it on a bunch of bags of shit. And Chris is like, yeah, go for it. Spend up to the cap. Are we talking about like the failure here is that we haven't spent over the cap, which is, you can't really do that until you have like injured guys. So it's just like, for sure, like we're not at the top of the league for caps, but what are we going to, I don't know. It's just, it would make so much more sense if this number was way bigger and we were closer to the bottom.
Well, because Jim can't, he's not talking with us. So let's say he was also suggesting like, not even money, but like future assets. So they're like, he's saying, don't give away all our picks for some commitment that we're not sure if it's really going to work. So maybe protecting the future.
Does Chris think that far? That sounds like more of a Steve decision, right? Like Chris doesn't care. He wants to sell playoff tickets, doesn't he? Doesn't he want to make money?
I don't think so. I don't know what he's doing. I don't understand the goal of this team.
I could sit here and listen to I don't want to spend money, but then why do we only have 2 million left on the cap? I don't know if it makes sense that Chris would be telling Steve Yzerman like, no, I got to build through the draft. That's how I want my team built. It's like, then why'd you bring Steve on? Yeah. So, I mean, here, like projected cap space for the Blue Jackets, 18 million, Flames, 17 million, Ducks, 15 million, Sharks, 8, Utah, 7, Preds, 7, just go up the list. Red Wings, 2 million left. They spent 85 of their 87 million. I don't understand the argument that Chris Ilitch has told Steve that he can't spend money. He spent almost all of it.
What if we look at it this way? What if Steve understood, because he's such a draft guy. Listen, the only way we're going to get good picks is we got to tank. I got to tank. That's the only way I'm going to get as high as I want to be in the lottery. And Chris was like, listen, dude, I can't have, this is a new arena. I can't have it empty. I can't have it echoing with the sounds of seats with no butts in them. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to, get some guys in here. And Yzerman's, he's already balding. And he's like, dude, if you do that, we could just flounder. we could just flounder because now I can't get the picks that I want, and I'm not going to be quite good enough. And he's like, yeah, but I got to get people in the seats, give them a little sizzle, give them a little razzle dazzle. One of the years you guys will make the playoffs. Is there any way that is the case? Like pressure to be average and not be bad.
I mean, the question is like, is this real? Like, was Steve Yzerman really stopped from being the genius that he is, or is it possible he's just okay? Like he's just a guy with the GM handle on his name, right? Like that's where we're kind of going with that.
Jim he's bidding for comment of the episode saying Ilitch has been criticized with the Tigers as well. Yeah. So if we're doing an experiment and our control is, teams and the base is Chris, it's been poo-poo 2 times. So I don't know. Not very aggressive for the Tigers, and we thought they could be. Or at least making it feel like a destination. Because let's say, like, they did try to throw a bag of money at Alex Bregman, right? That was a thing that leaked. And I think it leaked because they were sad that they didn't sign him. So I'm pretty sure the Tigers leaked that their offer was unsuccessful. But maybe they're just not making it feel like this is the place to be.
Well, you do that with winning. You don't really do that by saying, like, look at all these average, I have a bunch of middle 6 guys. You want to come play with them? I don't know. It's tough. Like, I don't think that Chris Ilitch is helping this team at all. But the conversation of bringing in Chris Ilitch feels like we're forgetting, like, in December when we brought in McClellan, we weren't also saying, like, yeah, but the roster still needs to be made better here. We still need to make improvements. And then 2 7-game winning streaks later, we're like, all right, good. We're done. Problem solved. We don't have to do anything. This is the team. And then we went back to losing in March, and we're still losing, and the team's going to be out of the playoffs again. So only subtractions is what I'm seeing. What's funny? I'm like looking across the league last night, and you're watching like that, the Vancouver Canucks coming back against Dallas, 3 goals in that last minute. And you're going through the box score, and you just see Filip Hronek. Take a look at Edmonton, and you've got Jake Wallman killing it with Edmonton. Like the only thing that's like their saving grace right now is Jake Wallman while they continue to fall in the standings. And then we look at our team and we go, what the hell? Like 2 years ago, the whole NHL, what the hell was Steve thinking bringing in Justin Holl? And now that's all we have left. I don't know. There were other moves you could have made to tank. There are other moves you could have made to not be disappointing me again for nine straight years.
It's a pretty long time, Matt.
Yes.
I wanted to throw a few comments in there too, because I really liked what Jared said back here. He said he had to do this like a tweet thread, and he had to put in 2 comments. Didn't McClellan state during an early interview after he was hired that he had been talking with Yzerman on the possibility of getting hired on? Maybe Ilitch didn't want more people on the payroll since the loan is getting paid. So that's an interesting thought, right? Because the Pistons had easily one of the worst coaching experiences ever last season when they won 12 games and they lost 70 games. Their coach was not starting their top 5 draft pick for we never got an answer. And the Pistons said, we gotta cut bait, this is ridiculous. And so they ate $60 million in 5 years of contract to fire that guy and bring in a new coach and pay him. So as far as the Ilitch style being a little bit different, maybe that puts a little juice in our argument. This wasn't something that they looked at each other and said, we got to pull the plug. And it was kind of like, well, let's see how it pans out. Let's give him some more time. We'll go on this massive losing streak, and we'll only fire him because it's literally just people booing in the streets, which is a lot like what the Tigers only fired Avila. There was people literally having an uproar over like, how is this guy still employed? Like it's up to us to get these guys fired. So as long as the Steve bots are out there, I think Steve's job's security is pretty intact.
Yeah, Dan brings up a good point too. Another it was Pius Suter, who's having a career year with Vancouver, I believe. He put in 2 of those goals back to back to make it 5-5, I think. Just calling that one out for funsies. Jim throws out there, boys, with Raymond, Larkin, Sider at top just over $8 million, will Stevie be able to go after a Marner Pettersson type of player with
Hell
the
yeah,
big
brother.
price tag?
Have you seen that salary cap going up? If you smell,
look,
Gary Bettman's cooking. Yeah,
salary's going up. Also, a good GM can move contracts off the team.
Dallas does it every year. So does Vegas.
Vegas does it every year. It's not like teams aren't aware that these other teams do it every year. Like, I don't understand why it seems so hard for us to make these moves, and for every other team, it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit better this year. What? I don't know. I'm getting frustrated. It's getting tougher to like figure out, like, at this point, like, one of the things I want to do is bring up the Max Bultman article that went up today, because it's always good to get like the outside opinion of somebody who spends day in and day out watching this team. But like, so I never finished the thought, but we are at this point right now where the situation wasn't just us getting knocked out, but 2 of the teams that we have been fighting against for a playoff
who we thought
spot
were our peers, right? They were jockeying for the same free agents.
Great way to put it.
For the same free agents, right around the same spot for like draft picks, right? We were all in the same toilet bowl at the bottom at the same years. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, now it's Ottawa and Montreal, and not only do they look great right now, they're winning games when they need to, but there's some other parts to this too where it's just like, I mean,
it takes 9 years, Matt. It takes 9 years to turn it around. I mean, unless you're Montreal, or Ottawa,
and Montreal has got a little present coming their way too. We'll pull up a slide for that in a little bit. But we were talking about this a second ago. I mean, the tankathon, like we said, like this is the toughest schedule left in the NHL. We only have tough opponents.
You know who I'm envious of is Toronto. They get to play Buffalo and the Red Wings. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of funny they threw in Montreal as one of their easy opponents. That's not fair. No. So yeah, you were laughing pretty good though. What was it? Something in the comments?
No.
Oh, good point by Jim. How are we forgetting like buyouts? Holl, Tarasenko, Henry Moon says both if possible.
Henry, I don't think I've seen Henry. How you doing, man? Oh, we got Big Debo 72. That's another new one. How you doing, man?
I hope this is sarcastic, but Big Debo goes, Stevie moved out that horrible Wallman deal. Good point.
Yeah, I think that was some sarcasm there.
Oh, thank God. God, that is really turning out good for Edmonton. Salary cap going up. Also, cost of importing sticks and skates and picks from Canada.
Can we throw in the Big Debo, the big comment from Big Debo saying Copper, Senko, Gus, Holl, Petrie, terrible free agent moves. And don't forget about Husso and Ned. Don't forget about the big Mrazek trade so we can block Kosa from being at the NHL level. Boom! Stay down in the AHL, bitch. Woo! Yeah. Nice.
Wait, I mean, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Trey. It's just like, you know what? I'm going to stick around in Michigan State. The ladies love me. There's good beer deals around the corner. We'll see what happens.
I'm on a gravy train with biscuit wheels, baby. Woo! But yeah,
no rush.
Big Debo just continues an atrocity outside of the draft. Big Debo, if there's a point to debate in there, we would try. It's pretty evident. There's no pushback there.
I mean, yeah, we take this conversation too to like a point where it's just like, All right, now it's time to read the fucking Max Bultman article.
Who's ready for the draft guide? Who's ready
usually
for a player who will be good in 2029?
usually we're doing this stuff, and Max is actually very conservative. He will call out like this could happen, that could happen, but it's not very often where he leans
Well, he has
so
to see
hard in
these
one
people's
direction or another.
faces every day at work,
Yeah.
so he can't just slam them like we can,
But he does go pretty hard today, and so we'll read Max's article. It's almost like we're just saying like, look, guys, you can take it from us, but also Max said it too, so you have to be mad at him. But Max starts off the article. Detroit's playoff drought looks destined to go 9 years, the second longest active drought of any team, and tied for the fourth longest drought in NHL history. It's a miserable place to be for one of the league's most storied franchises. This now goes beyond the expected pain of a rebuild, even knowing how dire a situation Steve Yzerman inherited in 2019. The Senators, who have been rebuilding on a parallel timeline to the Red Wings, clinched a playoff spot Tuesday night with Detroit's loss, snapping their own 7-year drought. 7-year drought. That sounds like it wasn't in parallel, Mike. That sounds like we got started earlier. Anyway, the Canadiens, who started their own rebuild after going to the Stanley Cup final in 2021, look all but sure to be back in the postseason in less than half the time Detroit has taken.
Wow. Yeah.
No two rebuilds are exactly alike, of course, and each begins with different opportunities and challenges. But for both Atlantic Division opponents to get back to the playoffs before the Red Wings is concerning at minimum and speaks to the missteps Detroit has made. The 2-1 goal that sealed Detroit's fates Tuesday came off an offensive zone turnover from last summer's top free agent acquisition. According to you guys, not me, Vladimir Tarasenko, who has underperformed all season,
to say the least. Yeah.
Also featured
arguably to say the most.
Yeah. Also featured a lost race by Justin Holl, 2023 free agent signing who hasn't worked out well in Detroit. Mike, did you see the Instagram reel I sent you from PK Subban? So it's PK watching the Red Wings game against the Vegas Golden Knights, and Justin Holl's just standing out in front of the net. Vegas scores, and you can hear there's like a bunch of commotion. It's like he's watching the game in the ESPN studios, and PK Subban looks at the camera and he's like, "Justin Holl, man, soft in Detroit. That's soft. He was soft in Toronto. He's soft in Detroit." And then he looks right at the camera and he goes, "Stevie Y, that's on you. He was soft in Toronto and he's soft in Detroit. That's on you, Stevie Y."
Woo.
PK Subban throwing him hard and heavy at Justin Holl.
Man, oh man.
I can't say enough how like just absolutely like jaw on the floor I was when Justin Holl was announced. And the rest of the NHL was just kind of like, what the fuck are you doing, Steve? Max goes on. Those are just 2 plays in a 60-minute game. There are all kinds of missed opportunities on the night. And even that goal was ultimately decided by Johansson's. I'm sorry. I got to stop. It's such a terrible habit. Albert Johansson's lost helmet, forcing him out of the play. But the Red Wings' lackluster results in free agency have been such a pain point that the back-breaking goal coming in that fashion hits especially hard. Jared says, "Let's side PK and cut Holl."
Ooh, that's a roster upgrade. I like it, Jared.
We'll talk about this in a sec. But yeah, it's I mean, there's more quotes out of that article. I just dive into this though.
It's getting harder and harder to keep defending Steve, and I mean, we haven't been right. We've kind of tried to champion like he's got a job because his name's Yzerman. He had a different last name, he wouldn't be here. Like the pro scouting has been so horrendous. I think this group chat has definitely been all over that. I don't think we've really had big Stevie defenders in years. Outside of that one time we had McCarty who told us we didn't know what we were talking about. And I think we should try to get him on as a guest just for a few minutes, and we'll have the mute button handy. But just ask him. So, is this still the Yzer plan to like be behind Ottawa and Montreal? Is that still? You sure about that? You sure about that? That's Steve Yzer plan, huh?
Dan B, there has to be a story behind the Yzerman signing and the Holl contract. It had to be a drunk misdial.
Is there some other Holl that Yzerman thought it was?
I mean, maybe it was Taylor Holl on the market at the time.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, probably.
Get me Holl's agent.
I just want a Holl on the team. Get me.
Jim Johnson, our 5-on-5 was the shits, and what can you say about the PK? Diarrhea. Jared throws out there to Dan B's question of what happened with Holl. Lost a bet with Shanahan.
So,
hey, that's still on Steve.
Like at this juncture, to be a Steve bot,
yeah,
you have to be like a conspiracy theorist, right? That Ilitch Chris is pushing Steve to at least make the team average. No, I can't have you tank every year until you get a good draft pick. I can't do it. You got to have an average team. I got to sell tickets. I got to make money on this Red Wing team. And so Steve didn't 40 chess this team. He tried to 60 chess it and signed the worst free agents possible to try and like secret tank. So he signed Holl at all costs for multiple years to try and make our draft pick better than it would normally be if he'd signed, like an average free agent. So is that on the table, Matt? That Steve was doing a covert operation tank job by signing Justin Holl to multiple years, trading Sherrod, giving him multiple years, signing Kopp, the empty net, missing guru to multiple years. Kopp never saw a core that he wanted to see intact for multiple years. Mrazek revitalized my career that wasn't much of a career for multiple years. The list goes on and on. Tarasenko for 2 years. Bring him in. And he's just trying his goddamnedest to take this team, and it just keeps staying average.
Looking at like the 860 save percentage of Mrazek, and he's like, come on down. This will solve all my problems. We'll lose out.
Sorry, Jared. He said, don't say conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying that's what it takes now. That's what it takes to defend Steve is a madman.
But yeah.
7D chess, 3 extra dimensions.
Right. Cause like that's how bad it is. And I think, Mike, I don't know if we'd agree on this.
Maybe.
I'm still not of the camp. I'm not of the camp. Fire Steve Yzerman. Are you?
What are we doing? Why are we keeping him?
That's a good question. That is a good question. It's tough to answer.
I think that this relationship does not work. I think that Steve having an emotional tie to this city and this franchise is hurting us. Because now it's like they're not holding him accountable because of an emotional tie when this should be a business relationship. I don't think it's ever going to work with Steve. And what I don't want is when they make the playoffs in 15 years. Well, you should have been patient, young man. You should have waited 15 years into the Yzer plan. You Red Wings ranters, you had no idea that one day we'd squeak in at number 8. When the other cities had crumbled because of the nuclear wars. Somebody's got to be the 8th seed.
Steve knew.
Steve always had a plan. See, he put the whole team in a fallout shelter and protected them at all costs. All right, I'm done. I'm sorry. Matt laughs at my stupid voices, and that enables me, so I'm sorry.
My alter ego, Matt.
Hey, Burger Man.
Chimes in and says he's ready to fire Steve Yzerman. You tie together the narrative of why Steve should go. Yeah. I just want I want better. Is it just that it can't get better because of the narrative that you're tying around it, which I think there's a possibility that that's true. Those two narratives tie together. He's not going to be held accountable. He doesn't have to do as good a job. So that's true. That's true. That's true in my everyday at work. I feel the fire on my feet and I'm like, oh shit, I better get back to work. That is a true, that's true for most of us, I think. So that being said, that's true, but I'm still at this point, not that I'm here to ask for better. And I don't know if asking for better from Chris Ilitch is what's going to do it, or if we can sit here and look to the camera and say, God damn it, you stupid idiot. Stop making dumb signings and trade some of these guys away to reset all this shit. Like, I feel like that's where I want to go. I might get in trouble here. That was a little too loud and a lot of swearing.
I'm getting a lot of grief for my old man voice. Dan B said, Mike, you stealing my old man shtick, damn you. And Jim saying all I had to do was take out my false teeth. How dare you, Jim? I love my fake schnappers. But Jared, I know where your concern is coming from, but Jared says, problem is, even if you toss Yzerman, who do you hire to replace him? The league's boys club is so fudged, we would end up with Joe Quenneville. So you know what, Jared? In a real world where we reward ability, right? Anybody from Las Vegas or Dallas, if you've been in the room for these trades at the deadline and these fascinating maneuvers in the offseason, teach us, please. We'll let you run the whole thing in Detroit. Come on down, buddy. But you're right. They're not going to do that. They fire Steve, give him, some scouting role, and then make it Draper. Hey, there's Kirk Mulpey. He's walking around at the drink rail seats. Let's give him the job. Let's give him a shot.
Drapes threw out first pitch, Mike. Did you see that at the Tigers game? I don't think it was the home opener. I think it was game number 2. I would have been booing. Very disappointed in our fan base.
I would have booed harder than Canada at the U.S. national anthem. That's how hard I would have booed. My voice would have been gone at the opening pitch. That's where my voice would have went.
My burner account throws out there, Kent Hughes was never a part of the old boys club. Seems to be running circles around that bum Steve Yzerman. Speaking of which,
he's out there hot dogging. Sorry, go ahead. Oh man, oh no, Matt, you got some more good news for us?
I mean, good news for hockey fans. Not good news if you were like, Montreal Canadiens are a flash in the pan. Man, if you were watching that game last night and you're not watching like Lane Hudson and going like, please, 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 for the love of God, Axel, can you be our Lane Hudson? Like, I get it. Like, we know what we're getting with Seider. I'm not saying trade Seider for Lane Hudson, but there's something that Lane Hudson has when you're watching him dance on the blue line. Oh my God, is it so much more exciting and fun to watch than what we do every night? But anyway, another cool cat coming to town from Montreal, Ivan Demidov, and we're all just acting like, oh, some reason he got released from his KHL contract.
When we all, I got that already.
We've all read, right? Like the Russian 5 book.
Yeah.
So it's like, we know, like, there's stuff going on behind the scenes. We watched Matt V. Mitchkov all of a sudden, like, I'm going to come to Philly. And then he almost wins the Calder Trophy and has like a point per game pace. Like, to talk about Kent Hughes, like, obviously there's nothing I could say right now that's like, here's what the Montreal Canadiens did to get Ivan Demidov to the United States. There's nothing, or to the North America. There's nothing I could say, right? We have no evidence. The only thing we could say is every time we hear about these stories, we find out 10 years later that the NHL club was involved. So I don't know. You can tell me whatever you've read from Elliot Friedman, whatever he reported. I'm going to wait for the book 10 years from now that'll talk about this. this is Mike. I mean, if you listen to like the prospect guys like Scott Wheeler, What Chaos had their prospect guys on, The Athletic had their prospect guys on, Merrick has his prospect guy on. Everybody is like shooting a rocket through their shorts right now because they're so excited to see Ivan Demidov, who's just been on all of these lists of like, oh man, I wish it wasn't going to be 3 years before we get to see this guy, because he's already like, as a defenseman, like 49 points in 56 games or whatever. Or I think that it's right here, 49 points in 65 games with Ska this season. New KHL record for an under 20 player. And man, the guy has insane skill. He looks like he looks like you put a horse on skates, honestly, but he makes it work. And it's just going to be,
he looks a little like a Russian Axel, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just the way we could have him on our team.
I'm just at this point where it's like, there's so many little things that these other franchises are doing. And I'm sick of the excuses. I'm sick of we could have this guy, but he's stuck in the KHL for another couple of years. Then we'll be good. When this one guy comes over from the KHL in a completely different league, then we'll be good.
Your burner account, by the way, is saying not only does Montreal have Demidov coming up now, they've got Michael. Is it Hayes?
Yeah, David Reinbacher.
A couple firsts. Totally different stratosphere than the beloved hometown Detroit Red Wings. Oh, and Dan B saying Demidov got released from his contract. Yeah, after a big bag of money was dropped off in a Moscow trash can. You tell him, Dan. Yeah.
High five, Dan.
Why couldn't we do that with what's our kid's name? Buchelnikov?
Yeah, Buchelnikov. Yeah.
Where's our big bag of money in a trash can?
It's never going to be Booch season.
He's never going to be on our team.
Never. All right. Well, it's been 47 minutes. Those are all my slides. I don't know how many more weeks of this do we have? Let me pull up the schedule again.
Me over in 2 weeks.
All right, so we've got to do a recording before the Devils fucking game, and then the 23rd, and then the playoffs will start, and then we can.
No.
I think we're gonna need a break.
So did I tell you that the guy at work who's like, we're only 4 points out of the playoffs? Did I tell you he walked in with a minor league or SHL Axel jersey yesterday? It is the ugliest effing thing I've ever seen in my life. It's just covered in, it's just a NASCAR Supreme. It's horrible. So to like make the jersey look realistic, you got to make sure all the ads are nice and situated so you can read all the mobile gas and Doritos. I'm like, this is disgusting, dude. I can't believe you spent $180 on this. This is so stupid. So I don't know. I'll just wait till Axel rescues us in a Red Wing jersey in 2035. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway,
well, it's okay. This is therapeutic, right? Now we're not going to be as mad the rest of the season because it's over. That's it. Done. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey,
we met expectations. You and I said at the beginning of the season this wasn't enough. We tried it again halfway through the season. We said this isn't enough. It wasn't enough. So we can't be too bummed. Dan B throws out there, hey, me and Dan are in a battle for 4th place in fantasy. Woo!
Woo!
Let's go. All right.
I don't know if this is a teaser or not, but Matt was throwing out the idea of doing something Piston related since they're actually going to be in the playoffs. Matt, is this going to happen?
I don't know if this crowd watch.
This might not be the demo for it, but
nope.
If you like us, we'll be in it. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, there might be a reason to start doing some Tigers baseball. They're looking good, and you know what? The world needs another Lions podcast, I think. I don't know. I'm really struggling to do this for another year, but
or at least the podcast that loves that the Lions' 2 starting corners change their jerseys, so they're 6 and 9. So that'll be our show.
I did not realize that.
And also, Demo and Gibbs, now they're 5-0.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I remember Jameer was switching it to 0. Did they actually do? Were they like working together on that? Both sides of the ball, defensive backs and the running backs. Is that a real thing, or is it just a coincidence?
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Okay. I like Jared throws out there the old man TV skit.
Yeah.
Lowered expectations.
Wait, performance art with a late bid for 3. Yes, we suck. I don't care what Blake said. Oh, performance art, man. That was at the buzzer. Bang. That was maybe my second favorite comment today. Blake, I don't think you're here to defend yourself, but you know who?
Yeah,
really needs your optimism today.
That motherfucker, he made me feel so dumb the other day because he's like, I can't believe you like a guy who's on the third line and has 40 points. And I was like, yeah, what? Why do I hate Tarasenko if he's on the third line? He's got 40. He doesn't have 40 points. He's got 30. Like, the problem was always like he was a defensive liability. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, does he might be bringing more offense than he gives up. And it's like, no, he's not passing the eyeball test. Like I should have trusted myself, and that jerk Blake just throwing in nonsense into the Discord. And I'm like, oh no,
Turner, Matt, and all the boys, we got your back. And Stevie Y, oh man, a late submission here for comment of the episode. If Stevie didn't overpay for mediocre free agents, only then you could ask that Illich question.
That's what I say. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to say like this is Chris Illich's fault when Steve sped up to the cap.
It only works with the conspiracy theory hat. That's the only way.
Like Chris is like, no, sign that bag of shit over there.
Oh, Jared pointing out Stinko, -15 on a checking line.
Boop.
Playing.
Thanks, Jared.
12 minutes a game. Bang.
Hey, Jim's got this one. One great positive was the cat. And then Larkin disappeared after 4 Nations.
Hey, Danby's Marco Kasper. That was a positive, right?
Hey, it's not to say that good things haven't happened, but also remember these good things that happened. Not enough. Not enough.
It's like
you're on my trade block, man.
Remember WWE used to be like, it's about the moments. You know, it's not about the championships. It's about the moments. Like that one time we thought Marco Kasper was going to be awesome. I mean, he's good. I just,
I don't hate Marco Kasper. I don't hate Lucas Raymond. I just, those are good.
Ooh, before we go, I know it's 53 minutes, but Jim Johnson saying, I think Showtime will not be back. I disagree. I don't think anybody else is going to offer as much money as the Red Wings, and I think he likes money, and I think he's going to try and get Jonathan Taves to play here, and we can get
all the stop it. No.
It's going to happen.
I'm going to
get ready for DeBrincat, Taves, and Kane. It's going to be your second line next year.
No.
You heard it here first, Jim.
No.
Jim,
way.
You heard it here first. Max Bultman is going to be having to write that article. What can their offense do to offset their defense?
You remember a couple seasons ago we asked like what would be the Matt Stafford trade so that you could like kind of bring in a bunch of stuff to, not to like tank the team, but performance art throws in there like time to trade Larkin.
I don't think Larkin is a Stafford. You'd have to trade Sider.
All right.
If you want a mega Stafford deal, you got to trade Sider. I'm sorry.
Jim's he's got the right thing going here. Nikolai Ehlers. Where's my I think I had a Nikolai Ehlers slide from the other day.
Burner Matt pointing out Kane and Taves. Bring back Petrie. Let's get the geriatric Wings. Well, we're doing the geriatric Blackhawks. We're getting all the old timers. So those are the guys who want paychecks, and we got just as much cap space as any other team. Come on down. We'll give you that Justin Holl money. Whoop, whoop.
All right, guys. We're gonna sail off into the sunset. Thanks for coming aboard. 2 weeks, 2 episodes left. Kind of like a week and a half left of hockey. And then we'll be good.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I wore a Canadiens jersey today. It just felt like it made sense. All right, see you guys.